Yo, what up, guys? It's Bloodshot. Um, Today we're gonna be making a really sick sound. It's a bass lead. We're gonna be creating an acid lead sound. Um, and it's not the same sound that comes off of the Roland TB303. We're gonna be using FM8, and FM8 involves a completely different process, and I love it. And we're gonna be using FM8 as opposed to Massive. So Massive uses wavetable sounds. It's different form oscillators, wavetable oscillators, and in my opinion, the best sounds are coming from FM8. I'm obsessed with FM8, and it's a completely different process. FM8 is pretty much an FM synth, and it's a different approach to creating these waveforms because it's fundamental. Massive is granular. Massive is basically resampling. FM8 synthesis is like pretty much you take a sine wave and you twist it, you modulate it, you engineer it, you reshape it, and you pretty much turn it into something else. And that something else is pretty much always something that you can't really create in any other way because it's using frequency modulation. So today we're pretty much using a modulator in combination with a highly resonant filter to modulate our carrier operator. And this is going to produce some really interesting effects, and I would love to see your guys' results and how you use it in your songs, etc. So definitely send those to me. I just put together a really basic drum beat right here. It's really nothing at all, just random. I'm probably not even going to use it. Anyway, open up FM8. So we're going to want to set our carrier right now, and that's going to be F. So make sure operator F is enabled, and you're going to want to set the audio, you're going to want to route it to the audio output, and you're going to want to bring that value to 100. Set the waveform of operator F to a soft square. So right now we got a pretty sick subby sound. Okay, we're going to want to soften the attack, and we're going to want to soften the release. So bring the attack up forward, just one little tiny square in that grid, and bring the release back just in between the 0 and the 6 and 0.6. And I'm going to bring the bottom part over like 3. You don't have to do exactly what I'm doing, but this is pretty much going to avoid any clicking sounds that we may get. So now to the modulator. Enable C, and choose a sawtooth wave in operator C, and set the self-modulation in C to about 27. So now we're going to want to reroute C to the noise amp. So bring that value to 100, and the noise amp is the module X. So enable X, and also you're going to want to enable the filter Z, and we're going to reroute X to Z and bring that value to 100. So we pretty much have the route of module X output to filter module Z, and the value is at 100. And we're going to want to reroute our module Z, the output, to our carrier wave, and that's the operator F. So bring that value to 60, and self-modulate F to about 23. So that gives us that really gritty hollow bass. See, without that self-modulation and without that rerouting, it just sounds like a simple sine wave. But when you route with module Z to the carrier, and I said bring it up to like 60, and then you and then you self-modulate F, it's got that gritty hollowy sound, which is what we're looking for. So basically what we're doing is we're using a filter and a wave shaper, and we're just shaping the modulator signal, and then we're sending that to the carrier, which is F. And we're not directly hearing the filter. It's only the effect that it has on the frequency modulation of operator F. So like in the filter, which is Z, you can mess with the cutoff slightly, and it opens it up to a really thick sound, and I mean, well, actually, kind of thin. Actually, if you bring it too high, and and also, if you want to do that, I would honestly keep the cutoff in its highest values, because if you go too low, then the sound gets distorted, and it gets unusable. So you're gonna want to go to operator F, and we're going to set the value to 0. And this means that the note pitch won't have any effect on the frequency of operator F anymore. So the frequency of operator F is fully determined only by the other modulator, the other operator, modulating the other operator. So we do this to get rid of the bass frequencies in our carrier, and also the effect makes the sound way more pronounced. So we can double up this whole patch and we'll get a bigger sound. And you can do that in your DAW, or you can do that in FM8. So we'll do that in FM8. So we're going to want to enable operator D, and this will act as the second modulator. So set operator D just the same as operator C, and we're going to set it to a sawtooth wave, which I'm pretty sure is what I use in operator C. And we're going to self-modulate it to the same thing as what we did with C, which is around 27. And we're also going to want to detune both of our modulators, operator C and D, relatively to each other. So C will go down to a value of 0.9970, and operator D will go to set the ratio to 1.0030, so that way they are respectively even in their detune. So after we have detuned both of our modulators, we're going to want to go to our noise amp, which is the X module, and we're going to want to set the saturator level to something like this. Thus, the symmetry is going to be set to 100, and bring the gain to 62, and bring the level to 85 in the saturator. And we're going to want to set the filter module Z to a cutoff of around 77. The one resonance is going to be at 81, the value of 81, and then the second resonance is going to be at the value of 66. And set first mode to 67 and the second mode to 90. And we're going to want to keep the mixing route at 2 and the routing over at serial. So right now we got a really sick sound coming up. We're going to want to set the output of operator D to the filter X module, and we're going to set that value to 100. And that way it is now pretty much being filtered. So now we're going to add a second carrier, and that way it'll be double the sound. And we're going to enable operator E, and we're going to set the operator to the same thing that we set our F operator, which is our original carrier. And we're going to set that to, if I remember correctly, it was a soft square, just like we did with operator F. And we're going to want to set the ratio of operator E to 0, and set the self-modulation amount of operator E to the same as we did with operator F, right around 22. And also soften the attack the same way that we did with operator F, but we're going to want to keep the release like where it is right now, and just bring the bottom square over one little cube in the grid. And that way we avoid any clicking. And also we're going to want to route the output of filter Z module to the operator E with the amount of 60. And just like we did with operator F, right around 60. And we're going to want to set the route for the output of operator E to the audio output, and we're gonna bring that up to 100. And we're also gonna. This is what you should do to beef up most of your songs, or most of your patches. It gives some wideness to your sound, and we're gonna want to pan out both of the carriers respectively to each other. So set E to -97 and set F to +97. And that gives it more wideness. So now let's assign an LFO. So we're gonna wanna go to the mod page and set LFO1 just like I'm doing here. Set LFO1 to 19. I accidentally clicked that, so now I gotta take it away. And route that to module Z. Now we can add some effects. So we can add the shelving EQ, and that way we can boost our high frequencies, so that way we can get a sharper sound. And now if you want to get like an even more screaming sound here, all you gotta do is just raise the filter resonance, and also experiment with different filters and wave shapes and parameters and modulation amounts. Also, I recommend using another instance of FM8 and duplicating this and playing the same MIDI sequence, but in a lower part of the sound. And also, like if you set that to a sine wave, you can get a 6 sub bass sound. So just mess around with this, try different waveforms and for different carriers, and just mess around with it. Hope you like the sound. Peace.